Welcome back to the Pesky Report, episode 471, presented by Beyond the Monster. I'm Jordan, joined by Brian. Just the two of us tonight. Brian, how you doing?
After that series, I don't know.
Yeah, I hear you there. I'm sure people can tell that I'm not feeling very well. I'm not just sick of the Red Sox shit. I'm also just getting sick, as it is. So we're gonna try and keep this semi-brief for our benefit because we don't really want to talk about that. And then for your benefit because I doubt you guys want to listen much about it anyway. You had to witness it. But Red Sox with a big series against the Atlanta Braves, coming back on the homestand, fresh off of getting swept by the Detroit Tigers. It was a real kind of get right series. It was a great opportunity to do so. And, the vibes were high. Got the new City Connect jerseys announced on Friday. Before we get into any of the games, Brian, what are your thoughts on the release video and the jerseys themselves and hats, I guess?
Well, I liked them. I mean, I'm still one of those people still complaining about the yellow jerseys, despite like the record they have with them. I don't like them. I know Matt wears it. He wants to wear it at his wedding, probably. Or like he wants to be buried in it. He thinks those uniforms are the best, but the yellow just never worked for me. I understand it's a Boston Marathon thing. I totally understand that, but it's nice to see they got something a little more green, a little more Fenway, a little more whatever. But I think it's going to grow on people, and it's the kind of thing where if they win with those uniforms, it's going to be great, and if they don't, then people never want to see them. So.
Yeah, the way my take on it was because I thought it was kind of weird they waited so long to actually show like what they were. Like, I mean, we got the leaks a few weeks back, and they were pretty close to what the leaks showed. My take on it is the uniforms weren't cool enough to justify the like super long drawn out waiting period of what they were going to look like. That said, the release video I thought was sick. Like Kermit the Frog freaking singing in the background. I thought it was a cool video. I bought one because I have no shame. I also bought a hat. Those of you watching this on YouTube will see that I'm wearing the hat. I'm not wearing the jersey because I can't sport too much Red Sox stuff today with the way the series ended up going. Um, but yeah, Friday was the day they got dropped. You get Sale in his return to Fenway against Garrett Crochet. Real marquee pitching matchup. Like honestly, if Friday was like a national TV kind of day, that's the kind of game you want to be a standalone because that's a great pitching matchup. I don't care if Sale isn't having the best season so far. Um, it's just a great pitching matchup that I wish more people got to get their eyes on, and it didn't disappoint. It was a great pitching matchup, and both pitchers were great. Sale went 7 innings, allowed 1 run on the Rob Refsnyder home run. Garrett Crochet went 7 innings, allowed 2 runs on back-to-back home runs from Matt Olson and Sean Murphy, some former Athletics that are definitely much happier to be in Atlanta, despite the A's playing pretty well this year. What was your how did you feel about the pitching matchup on Friday, Brian? Was it what were the emotions you were feeling watching Chris Sale? Because every time he came back out and I saw his face pop up on the screen, I'm like, I miss that man so much.
It was pretty sexy. It's like that was the guy that we missed for the past 5+ years or whatever you want to say. That guy we had in 2017. We saw him win the Cy Young Award, but then we saw him, turn to Chris Sale again in the playoffs and miss the playoffs. So he's like, "Well, but he missed the playoffs." It's like, no, assholes. Like he had a good season, and now he had a little bit of a rough patch at the start this season, but now he's kind of back on track. He's throwing a lot more sliders now instead of relying on his fastball, but he's getting the job done. And especially after the series we had, you're like, gee, it'd be really nice to have a guy like that, but it just never worked out for him. But I guess in between innings, kids with Sale Red Sox jerseys were coming, like trying to talk to him, and he was like engaging with the fans before the game, after the game, during the game. Great guy, just never really worked out here. But I think they talked about it quite a few times. It was the first time the Red Sox have faced back-to-back Cy Young Award winners ever, I guess, or maybe that anybody ever has. So I thought that was pretty cool. And previewing the series, it's like, all right, well, this is our best pitcher. If we're going to beat them, this is probably our best bet. And I mean, the game was pretty close. Just the offense just didn't have it.
Yeah, that's one of those games that you're going to have to win 3-2 or 4-3. It's not going to be a high scoring game. Like I said, Crochet. I mean, the only runs that were allowed by the starters came on solo home runs. Again, Crochet gave up 2 back to back, and then Rob Refsnyder led off the 7th with a home run against Sale. Sale in his last 6 starts has a 2.02 ERA, so he's definitely reverting back into the Chris Sale of last season. He's got 48 strikeouts across 35 and 2/3 innings, and he's walked only 11. Um, he's been masterful, and every single pitch that you watch him throw, you just think about Vaughn Grissom rotting in AAA, not getting an opportunity at first base while we watch Abraham Toro and Nick Sogard take turns over there and talk about how Devers is quitting on the team because he won't play the position. Like it's a it's an interesting situation, and we'll get into more about how much they miss Chris Sale as we get further along within the series recap, because the next two starts were not very good either. Um, but like, I mean, I personally, as somebody, I don't know if you were there, Brian, I got my money's worth because I wanted to watch those two guys go head to head. I didn't want to watch one of these guys get smoked. I wanted to watch both of them dominate and then the Red Sox pull it out late. And they had an opportunity to do so. They had runner at second, I think, in the 7th inning down 2-1, or maybe the 8th inning down 2-1, and couldn't get him home. I think it was Narvaez walked, Hamilton pinch ran, stole second, then a ground out, a strikeout, and I think Devers flew out to end the inning. So they had an opportunity, and then the ninth was just a disaster class. It's becoming a seriously disgusting trend with the Red Sox, period. But the bullpen um, were the culprits in game one. Liam Hendricks walked two. Brennan Bernardino walked three guys in a row, and the lead swelled from 2-1 to 4-1. And then Trevor Story's valiant effort to hit an RBI single, despite hitting 130 in his last 30 games or whatever. Um, all for naught. They got the tying run to the plate, but a very fugazi comeback, and they dropped game one 4-2. Not a very fun showing once the starters came out of the game. I didn't think either bullpen really looked all that great, but the Red Sox bullpen just looked way worse, and that's been the trend for the last few weeks, unfortunately. Um, how aggravating has the well, okay. So the question I'll pose here, because I've been seeing it more so today because of how the series turned out, and like Brian Bayo was the guy that everyone thought was going to be the guy that takes the biggest leap under Andrew Bailey. Where do you stand on Andrew Bailey? I'm seeing a lot of people saying they need to fire him. I think that's kind of a little premature, but where do you stand on the what Bailey is doing to improve things? Is it a Bailey problem? Is it a Bailey and Breslow problem? Like, what is the issue here? Oh, you're muted.
Right.
You're good.
Hello? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to say because I think that, when they're pitching, I thought Bayo, when he first came off the disabled list, was pitching great, and then it's like, all right. And then, okay, well, Tanner isn't pitching great. Then he had a couple of good games. And like, how much is the coaching a thing? How much is not a thing? How much is it a core thing? How much is a personnel thing? I think going into the season, we're like, wow, we have so much pitching depth. And now it's like, all right, how much depth do we really have if we're, these guys aren't getting the job done? I think what's happening is you're playing better teams now. You're playing some good teams. I mean, I don't even want to get into what our predictions were for the Tiger series. And it's like, all right, here we go. And then you get to the bullpen and it's like, all right, how many games can, like Chapman's pitching the ninth. It's like, is Hendricks, he looks good. And then he walks a bunch of guys. And then Bernardino walking three guys in a row. It's like, well, what can Bailey say to him? Throw strikes?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I really don't know what they can do. It's really just execution and personnel. You can have guys that are complete jackasses and don't listen to anybody. If they can throw strikes or they can throw the ball by somebody, nobody cares. I mean, yeah, I can listen to any coach in the world, but I still have to execute. The coaches can only do so much, especially in baseball. I mean, how many times have you argued, like, how much does Core really have a say over what's going on, or Bailey has a say what's going on? Devers was the one that was missing 93-mile-an-hour fastballs right down the middle of the plate, and now he's not. Is the hitting coach all of a sudden like, does he getting through to Devers? No, Devers figured it out. I think it's the same thing with the pitching too.
Yeah, I think there's a problem it's not just a Boston sports fandom problem with coddling players. Like everyone, and there's a couple ways I'm going to go with this. Players, grown men should be able to know what they have to do to succeed at the major league level, and sometimes game plans don't work. And I think with somebody like Bayo, and we'll get into him, like sometimes I feel like they're a little too quick to change things dramatically with him, and that's maybe part of the problem. He can't really settle into anything in particular. But,
Right.
like, at a certain point, you gotta like, players have to play better, and, all I've been hearing every time they lose is, "This team is way too good to beat this record," and it's like, well, you are what your record says you are, and maybe on paper this team shouldn't be 23 and 25. Maybe they're more like maybe they're like a 28 and 20 team. If you look at them on paper, like where they should be through 48 games. But games aren't won and lost on paper. They're won and lost on the field. And you can only tell people so many things. They have to go out and still do it. Like mechanically, like Bailey can't have Brian Bayo with razor sharp mechanics and have him repeat his delivery every single time and have him start his pitches in the right spot and so they end in the right spot. Like he can't do that. If he could control Brian Bayo like that, like Remy the rat from Ratatouille up in his fucking hat, Andrew Bailey would probably still be pitching in the major leagues. Like he's not that old. He could still pitch if injuries and being able to have mind control was a thing. Um, and then to a lesser degree, like if you want to hold somebody accountable, why not look at the manager? I mean, since the end of the 2021 season, the Red Sox are 14 games under 500. Like they were 622, 623, 500 last year, and so far they're 200 this year at 23 and 25. Like, if you want to, like, it can only be, how is it never the player's fault and never the manager's fault? It's always Pete Fatsy's fault when they don't hit, Andrew Bailey's fault when they don't pitch, Breslow's fault when Tristan Casas' knee blows up and you have exposed first base depth despite expecting this guy to be a franchise caliber player. Like at a certain point, you have to blame players for not executing, and the manager's got to take some of the blame too. Like it's not a fair thing because he can't control what these guys do either. But people are so selective in the blame pie thing. It's always a coaching staff or front office problem. It's never a player or manager problem, and I don't understand why that's a thing.
Well, I think that Jordan, I think they're emotionally attached to the superstars. Where I mean, they might know who the hitting coaches are, and I mean, Bailey did play baseball, so you know who he is. But if he's gone or he's not here or he's with the team, who really cares? Like, is the casual fan do they even give a shit? No, but hey, Devers is here. I like Devers. He was great. He won a World Series. Or all these other guys like like Campbell. I saw him in Worcester a year ago. Oh, that guy. You're emotionally attached to those guys, so it's really easy to throw the guys who really do a lot of the hard work behind the scenes that you never know about under the bus because you're seeing the front page, and it's really it's a shortcut to thinking, really, just be like, oh well, it's the coach's fault. Well, I mean, maybe to a certain extent, but like look at a guy like Story. You try and tell me like the coaches don't talk to him, like, oh, you should
Right.
probably do this, or you're behind on fastballs, maybe you should cheat a little bit. No, everybody's like, he sucks, it's over, he's okay at defense. Let's bring up Mayer tomorrow. Like that's what
Yeah.
people want. And it's like you're just like I've jokingly said, well, eventually he's going to get hurt. I mean, he is going to get hurt, but I mean, what's he got left? And now Campbell's taking grounders at first. Like that's great, but then who plays second now? They're going to move Story to second. Then you still got the Story problem in the lineup. I mean, they got a lot of problems. You can't do a band-aid. They need some permanent solutions, and I don't know if they know what they want to do.
Yeah, it's like they're waiting for like they had this great problem to have in spring training. They had all this depth, whether it be on the mound or in the lineup, especially at middle infield and in the outfield. Obviously, the outfield's the glaring embarrassment of riches that they have with the top prospect in the sport. But it's like they're waiting for a decision to be made for them. Like they don't want to DFA Story and have him go somewhere else and succeed because then they look like they're the ones that failed him and not him just not hacking it here. They don't want to they don't want to get rid of Masataka Yoshida because if he goes somewhere else and he's a really good DH there, then they look like they failed him and it's not the other way around. They don't want to make difficult decisions, which is ironic because that's what Breslow was barking about in his intro presser, that he has the I think he said the conviction to make difficult decisions. Well, a very difficult decision is to make one that might not be popular with the clubhouse, and that is cutting bait with Trevor Story and calling up Marcelo Mayer. And I don't like again, Story had an RBI single in game 1 of the series, and he looked fine in game 2 of the series. Like he had a hit, he had a walk, he drove a ball to deep right center field. Game 3, he went 0 for 4, he had 2 strikeouts, but he also hit another deep fly ball to center and had a, grounded out as well. So like his at bats, I guess, are getting better, but his defense isn't. He's hitting like 120 since April 22nd or something. Like it's been that bad. It's been that bad. You can't keep doing this. You need a shot in the arm, and I don't know, maybe Story isn't the first one, the first domino to fall. I mean, we saw it, and it's a much more drastic example because that team is way worse. But in Baltimore, Brandon Hyde made the playoffs 2 years in a row, won 100 games 2 years ago, and he got fired yesterday, Saturday at the time of recording this. It can be done. You can make dramatic decisions, and I know sometimes it's performative, but sometimes you need to rattle the cage and be like, "Oh, we thought Trevor was untouchable. If he can get DFA'd, maybe we should kick it into high gear and start playing like we're serious." Oh, Alex Cora is like a Mount Rushmore individual around here for some ungodly reason. If he can get fired, anybody's fair game. So, like, they have to do something. Something's gotta give with this organization. They can't just keep waiting till the end of the year to make calls. They have to do something now with the Mets coming into town. And maybe you don't wanna have Marcelo Mayer come in and face, stud pitching, and you wait one more series, but you can't wait much longer than you have.
Yeah, they can't make up their mind. I know that, the whole Devers thing about playing first base, Henry flew in to talk to him, and it's like, oh, wow, this is different this year. In past years, they wouldn't have done that. Things are different now. They made a bunch of moves in the offseason, but they still can't make up their mind what they want to do. But I mean, Jordan, like at this point, are you surprised by anything the ownership does anymore? I mean, it's so like reactive, and we don't sign pitches over 30, and then you do, and then we don't do this, and then we do that. They don't know if they're coming or going. I mean, they get their foot in the water and they're like, all right, this feels like a good move. And when things work out, they look like geniuses. But when you're cutting a guy like Brazier and then he's like the best relief pitcher in baseball for like a week with the Dodgers, like, what the hell are we doing? And I think they see like, well, we got rid of guys in the past, and then they went to other teams that were good, so we can't possibly get rid of anybody. It's like, well, not everybody is going to light it up when they leave. You're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And I think that the later we get in the season, they're going to have to make some moves. They're going to have to do something. I don't know. I know what Tanner went on they shut him down basically like indefinitely, I guess, because of his arm or something. He's on the disabled list. Maybe that was a good move. But Walker Buehler is going to pitch, coming up next week. That's a shot in the arm because he was doing really well right before he went on the DL. Bayo was the guy who was going to be that 3 guy, but he's kind of not looked like himself recently. They've got a lot of holes, but it's baseball. It doesn't make any sense. It's like, this team could win like 12 games in a row and everybody jumps back on the bandwagon. And reality, they're not that good, but I don't think they're as bad as they're playing. They're somewhere in the middle. The frustrating thing for me is Tampa is Baltimore now, I don't know. They jumped the shark. I mean, they were like, tanking. Now they get all these prospects and now they're in the shitter. Toronto. So basically, you've got New York, and it's like, get off your ass and go do something. Let's make some moves here. It's like, you don't have to win the division. It's a hell of a lot easier for the path, but just get in the playoffs, do something. Let's have a little bit of excitement here. And it's just frustrating. It seems like any type of momentum they get, then when they lose 3 games in a row or something, I can only imagine what the players think, where they get frustrated and they're trying to then they start doing stupid shit like getting thrown out on the bases, because they're like, if we just win this one game, we win this one inning, and it's been like a snowball effect.
Yeah. It's kind of it's like looking like this is why I think looking at division rank sometimes is a little bit misleading because like under Heim Bloom, they finished last place in 2023 in a historically great American League East. I mean, they had the Orioles won 100 games. I think the Rays won like 95 and the Blue Jays won 88 or something, and the Yankees won 82 and 80 despite Judge missing 3 months with his toe injury. Yes, you went 78 and 84. That's not good, and that's like very worthy of like a 4th or 5th place record. But that was a historically great division. You finished last place in it, not good enough, and they fired Heim Bloom as a result of it. You bring in Breslow, you get 3 games better. in 2024. You finished in third place. Were they that much better in 2024 because they finished third in a weaker AL East? I mean, now they're in second place, 2 under 500 in the American League East. Did they get better because they're in second place? No, like their record is what it is. They're 2 under 500. They're playing mediocre to slightly worse than mediocre baseball, despite a perceived much better roster in a perceived much better regime of front office, and they got somebody that, Cora clicks with, and it just doesn't look like the case. There's some disconnect within the organization, whether it be coaches to players, manager to players, front office to the dugout, whatever it is, there's a disconnect that they need to figure out quickly, because I said this when Breslow got hired. He inherited a tremendous situation. 3 top 15 prospects is a gold mine. You have to basically try to fuck that up. And you're in year 2, and again, it's early. It's only May 18th, a lot of baseball ahead of us. But you're not playing well. And can you afford to I'm not advocating for Cora to get fired, but can you afford to just keep waiting till the end of the year to make a decision on Cora for the next 3 because he's under contract? Like, I don't know. You extended guys like Bayo and Sadon very early. Sadon starting to show some signs of development. Bayo not so much. The bullpen, like, you're the pitching guru. Your pitching sucks. Plain and simple. Not good enough. And that's how you get to 23 and 25. You got to start rattling some cages eventually, whether it be Story or whatever. It's got to happen soon though, because you can't really afford to lose 2 of 3 to the Mets now, and then you're 3 under 500. And Baltimore comes into town, but with how badly they've played against teams that suck, who knows how that goes?
Yeah, it's crazy that you're the only game in town. I think, the Celtics being out of the playoffs, that was kind of a shock for a lot of people. Football, I mean, you're gonna hear that on the radio just because people like to bitch, and then the Bruins are just basically a non-factor right now. So, like, the Red Sox could have this town by the balls if they can go on, like, a little bit of a winning streak. So, like, it's right there for the taking for them. And, Fenway hopping, it's like there's nothing like it. So I mean, maybe there's a change. We can get into that in a little bit, but I don't think anything's going to happen right away. I think that people might see something maybe on Monday, which would be kind of funny. We can talk about in a second, but I don't think they're going to make any changes for as far as to run the team right now. So
Yeah, you're probably right. Before we talk about game 2 of the series, I would like to mention that Yastinson Garcia just got promoted to AAA. Um, so he's in Worcester now. I don't know what a corresponding move looks like, but they called up an outfielder, so they promoted an outfielder. So I don't know if it's necessarily going to be that simple. I don't know if someone got hurt in Worcester, what it might be, but Yastinson Garcia is now in AAA for the Worcester Red Sox. So that's something of note. Some guys that are starting to make some noise down in the minor leagues and maybe put some pressure on guys in the majors. I mean, maybe not Yastinson specifically, but somebody's got to. You're telling me nobody in the Red Sox clubhouse sees that promotion and they're like, "Does that mean Anthony's coming?" Who knows? It's got to replace somebody in the lineup. They're not just going to promote him for no reason. But anyway, we'll move on to game 2, because it could have been the game of the year. It is on its own the best game of the season. Not for Lucas Giolito. He gave up 5 over 4 innings, 3 home runs. He looked like 2023 second half Lucas Giolito. He's looked great on the road in 2 starts. He's looked pitiful at Fenway Park. He's had 4 starts now. I don't know. I think Newcomb got 5. So I guess, to be fair to Giolito, I'll give him 1 more. Let me confirm that. Did Newcomb get 5 or 6?
He's got a longer leash than Rich Hill. Is that what you're trying to say?
He's a what?
He has a longer leash than Rich Hill.
Yeah, slightly. He gets one more start, before I start jumping down his throat about losing his status within the team.
Yeah.
I was unfortunately, well, I guess fortunately, because I didn't get to watch that slop, asleep for the first half of the game, so I missed Giolito's entire start. How do he look to you?
Well, I mean, I picked him up on fantasy because the league is so fucking deep that we're in. So I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, well, he'll do something. And of course, like 2 home runs a game, his worst season of his career, and now he's up to like 2.3 home runs per 9 innings or whatever the hell he is, or probably even more. Yeah, no, he sucks. I mean, basically, he's like he's pitching for the Red Sox, and I don't know if he'd have a job on any other team right now. I mean, he's just awful, like just god awful. And you're like, oh, okay, he's throwing a little hard right now. Oh, nope, he just doesn't have any separation. He's got two pitches. He has a third pitch he can't get over for strike. So they basically like, okay, this ball moves at all, just let it go by because he can't get it over. And they just sit on his fastball and they hit the thing, into Cambridge. And that's pretty much his game plan. So
Yeah, I'm trying to do some quick math here for his ERA since he left the White Sox. Just give me 1 sec, because it's not good, I'll tell you that much. Um,
since he left
so
the
yeah,
White Sox, wow.
yeah, so this is his last 16 starts dating back to July 28th, 2023. His
Yep.
ERA is 6.99, and he has allowed 26 home runs in 83 and two-thirds innings.
That's not good.
That is not good at all. And again, I'll say this, he was very good in Toronto and very good in Kansas City. So in his 2 road starts, he's gone 12 and two-thirds, 7 hits, 4 earned, 2 home runs allowed, 3 walks, 12 strikeouts. So he's been very good on the road. At home, 7 and two-thirds innings, 18 hits, 12 earned runs, 3 homers, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts.
Yeah.
You mentioned this last week. Can we do the reverse Houston Roger Clemens where he only pitches on the road? I would
It'd be
I would
nice.
vouch for that. I would vouch for that at this point. Can we get like a
Yeah,
pseudo
solid 7
27 out of this?
ERA. He's got a 7 ERA since he left the White Sox. My quick math when I did it.
Mhm.
Um, with the wit of 1.5. Yeah, that's not going to get it done. So I mean, hey, good luck to him. One more start, but if it doesn't work out, um, I don't know. Well, you got Bueller, you got Dick Fitch, you got Hunter Dobbins, and then Crochet, and then Bueller. Maybe you're right with those guys. I don't know. I mean, you gotta have to figure something. You can't keep sending these guys out; just can't get the job done. And I don't need any spot starters. I don't need any of this. Guys are going to pitch 2 innings. We need Bernardino pitching 2 innings, and then they're going to somebody else, or Newcomb gets another chance in the rotation. I mean, they got to be serious about some of these games. They can't just mail it in.
Yeah, it's just crazy how quickly we've gone from this team has so much depth on the pitching side of things to being like, we have to keep pitching this guy because then we'd have to put this guy back in the rotation. Like, if you take Giolito out of the rotation now, it goes back to Sean Newcomb. I mean, Bueller's going to come back, but you figure he'll probably replace Houck's spot in the rotation. Um, so it's ugly right now. It's a tough spot, and maybe it's just a matter of surviving this rough patch for Fitz to come back and Bueller to come back, and they'll settle back in with some continuity every 5 days, having the same 5 guys go out there. But like I said, something's got to change. He was really, really bad um, in game 2 of this series and gave way to the bullpen in the 5th inning. Again, bullpen's been getting worked to death lately, and it's not like the bullpen's really doing a great job, although they did in game 2. I will give them their flowers. Nick Birdie especially went an inning and two-thirds scoreless. I know he had a runner cut down at the plate, so that could have easily been an RBI for Matt Olson, who killed the Red Sox in this series. But the you can't really keep running relievers out there multiple innings and expect to get very far. But it was nice to see the bats wake up and they finally got a victory when trailing after 6 innings. They were 0 and well, now they're 1 and 15, but they were 0 and 14 entering um, game 2 of the series when they trailed after 6. They were down 5-0 and 6-2 at points. Duran hit a home run to cut it to 5-2. Um, Atlanta got one back to make it 6-2, and the Red Sox came roaring back. Um, Devers hit an RBI single. Bregman hit an RBI double. That was in the 7th inning. Verdugo really bailed them out, throwing
Thank you.
throwing like Josh Allen, evading pressure off the wrong leg, trying to cut down Rafaela at the plate for no apparent reason. By the way, Will Fleming fucking hates Alex Verdugo. which I think is hysterical. I'm gonna go find that. I feel like we got to play that whole clip. Like I really do.
He's a good judge of character, Will. If Will doesn't like you, you did something wrong because
Yeah.
I when I was at Pawtucket, Will was there, super nice guy. And if you get on his bad side, you did something. You peed in his Cheerios, or you stole his waffles at the doubleheader in the minors, or something. You did something you shouldn't have done. So
Yeah, I'm gonna play the video of Will Fleming just ragging on Alex Verdugo. This is from Garrett Mashburn on Twitter at @G_Mashburn.
A familiar name atop the Braves lineup. Alex Verdugo bats from the left side. The enigmatic, at times frustrating leadoff man for the Red Sox. Swinging a ground ball to third. Bregman's got it on the second hop. Verdugo is running hard for once, but he's retired. Down the first base line, there's one away.
Out by a beard, which has made it.
Swinging a line drive into left field. That's a base hit. Cedon coming around third. He's going to score. Verdugo throws it home. Of course he does. And Devers is into second base. They take advantage of an all too familiar Verdugo mistake, and the Red Sox have a run in with Devers.
Devers is the runner at second base. Bregman is 0 for 2 in the game, 0 for 5 of the series.
High drive into left field. This thing is back at the track, at the wall, off the wall. Coming home is Devers. Verdugo tried to deke him. No shot. It's a wall ball double off that Benjamin Moore Fenway Green, and the Red Sox are within 2.
Yeah, so he hates Alex Verdugo, which that didn't sound remotely performative. He sounds like he despises Alex Verdugo, which, I mean, hey, welcome to Red Sox Twitter. He's become a punching bag. So yeah, but Red Sox get 2 in the bottom of the 7th, make it 6-4. Jarren Duran, big swing in the bottom of the 8th after Cedon struck out with second and third, 1 out to get a 2-run single to make it 6-6. Then gets caught stealing with Devers up, which, I mean, walk-offs are sexier anyway, I think, than if he had done that in the 8th inning. But Chapman comes in, blows the doors off of Michael Harris to end the 9th with 2 on, and then Raffy Devers comes up in the bottom of the 9th and hits a walk-off home run for his first career walk-off home run, which I think is crazy to think. He's been in the league for this is 9th year, first walk-off home run, but he hit the shit out of it. I don't know, Brian. I think he's done. I think he wants out of here so badly that he's trying to play up his value so he can get traded.
Yeah, I think that, it's crazy that his first walk-off, but I think that maybe earlier in the year when he was not having as much success, that's the reason that some people are now pitching to him still, which is stupid because now he's on fire. Where I think maybe he never had a walk-off, because right now, if you look at that lineup, pitch around him. If the base is open, why even give him, you know what I mean? But I think if you look, a couple weeks ago, he was missing pitches right over the heart of the plate, 94 miles an hour, which, I mean, but I think the ball he hit out was 98, and then he hit a home run today, I think at like 98 or 99 or something crazy. No, last night the walk-off was a breaking ball, I think.
Yeah.
And I think today he hit one the home run, yeah. But I mean, either way, I mean, if you could time up both of those and you're not caught off guard, I mean, you're in the zone. Question I had for you though, Jordan, is Duran back? Did you figure it out? Is he back on track now, or is he still kind of in no man's land? What do you think?
Well, Merloni brought it up today on the broadcast that it was like Duran went to the toe tap when he started struggling, or he was doing the leg kick for a bit, and then he was starting to kind of get behind on pitches, so he went to the toe tap. Then he wasn't seeing the ball well at all, so he was doing a lot of like bluff bunting. And now that he's kind of seeing the ball better, he's gone back to the leg kick, which is where he wants to be. Like that's the stance he wants to have because it generates the most power. He sees the ball the best. His swings have been a lot better, even his outs, which is nice. People really jumped on the Duran needs to go bandwagon a little too quickly for my liking. He was really fighting it for a bit, but like who hasn't been? Christian Campbell's 2 for his last 30. Trevor Story, we've already talked ad nauseum about him. It's just, again, people want to point fingers and be like, well, this guy should have been traded in the offseason. It's like, why? He was their best player last year. Like, why would you do that? We are going to get better next year. Our first order of business is to get rid of our All-Star Game MVP. That's like the first thing we have to do. Like that's something that would have been crazy. But yeah, Devers is locked in. Duran seems to be heading in that direction again. Maybe not quite all the way there, but some encouraging signs for him. And it's nice because when it's more than one person clicking, it's it certainly helps things. The only problem is now all the guys clicking are hitting back to back to back in the lineup. So once they're done, back to outs.
No, but so you were asleep during the game, but you were awake for the walk-off?
I slept. When I woke up, it was the top of the 7th inning, so it was 6-2.
Okay, so you don't have to miss the entire game, Jordan. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
You can watch some of the game. You're allowed to watch some of the game. But you should probably maybe, like a relief pitcher. Like, we'll just call you Kenley from now on, only you're a lot nicer. And you can, in the 5th inning, take a little siesta, take a nap maybe the 3rd inning, I don't know. And then kind of wake up in the 7th, 8th inning, start loosening your arm up. And I'm just saying, if it worked for one game, you shouldn't have gone with it today. I know you said you weren't feeling well. Why don't we should try that for the Mets series? I mean, you've got DVR. We've got the wrap up on YouTube if you need to find out exactly what happened. I know you like watching those Red Sox, but it's for the greater good of the team, Jordan. And like if they go on a winning streak because of it, I'm just saying, like, you really don't be so selfish. Is what I'm saying. That's
No,
what I'm
you're
trying to say.
absolutely right. I need to be better. I need to do what I can to like. People think Devers is being selfish by not playing first base. I'm actually the one being selfish because I'm trying to watch them play baseball. And that's my mistake because they don't really like to play baseball when I'm watching, except after the 7th inning of games that I missed the first 6 innings of.
And put not to put you on the spot. Since 2018, have you watched more innings than you've missed, baseball wise, with the Red Sox?
I would say.
And how has their record been? How has their record been since then?
Not great. We'll say.
Okay, so we have a proven track record of maybe you should just take some time off, not the whole game, but just bits and pieces.
Yeah, maybe I should. I mean, at one point in my life when I was playing baseball, I had to convert to a reliever. Maybe that's my area of expertise for being a fan now is I can't watch a second of the first 6 innings once the 7th
Maybe
hits.
just until they get hot. If they get hot, and then maybe you can experiment. Maybe we can tell exactly when Jordan's tuning in because all of a sudden, they leave the bases loaded with nobody out, and we can kind of like, hey, Jordan, just turn it off.
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if maybe Liam was caught in the crossfire of really the main problem, which was me. Because they're also 1-3 when I go this year. Now, so that's something that we got to keep tabs on. I'm going on Saturday against Baltimore, so we'll see if they lose that one. I promise, guys, I will take a break. I will not go to the Red Sox game at all in the month of June. Not counting my trip to San Francisco. That shit's already planned. I'm not backing out of that. That shit's already booked. I've already got tickets. That's not happening. I will not go to a game at Fenway in the month of June if the Red Sox lose Saturday against Baltimore. But yeah, maybe it is me. Maybe I've been pointing the finger.
If they get swept in San Francisco,
rest of the summer, maybe.
Might have to look at some things.
Yeah, we'll see where they're at the All-Star break. If they just still haven't really found their footing by the All-Star break, maybe I'll go back and just say that it wasn't me. It was the team.
Okay. Yeah.
It was the players. It was the manager. It was not me. It was not Liam. It was never Liam. I feel like the way they've been playing, it's kind of justice for Liam. He was there when they walked it off last night, and I don't know if he was there today. I will pretend he wasn't for the sake of this argument because I've been defending him. He just saying, maybe it's not Liam. But yeah, Red Sox win game 2, 7-6, win of the year. And I tweeted last night, this is the kind of win that if you get it, starts a 10-2 stretch.
Yeah, that aged well.
I mean, all I'll say is you got to lose 2 in 12 games to go 10-2. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. Like I spotted them. I didn't say win 7 in a row. I said go 10-2 in a 12-game stretch. So,
okay.
Don't
let us win tonight. Don't let us win tonight.
No, don't let the Red Sox win a game that I'm attending because I'm actually kind of scared though about the game next Saturday because Tyler O'Neill's been terrible, but I haven't been to any of his games yet. So I don't know who's pitching Saturday, but I might bet the Tyler O'Neill home runs. I might bet him to hit 2 because he's been having a dreadful year for Baltimore, which means he is chomping at the bit to play in front of me again.
He covered opening day, he covered his mortgage. He's good for the year. He doesn't have to hit any more home runs. As long as he hits the opening day home run, he's like bills are paid. Bills are paid.
Yeah, he put his entire April salary on him to homer on opening day. That's all he needed. All he needed, which was probably like plus 125 this year, because at a certain point it's just automatic. But yeah, so game 3, Red Sox against Atlanta. Winner takes the series. Brian Bayo against Spencer Schwellenbach, who the Red Sox killed last year at Fenway in June. They brought that up. Brian Bayo was atrocious. He's bad, like really, really bad. Like probably the worst I've seen him pitch. Like there was really no part of his start today that looked good at all. Uncompetitive. He had 15 base runners allowed in 4 1/3 innings. You thought Sean Newcomb had traffic. And you got to see Sean Newcomb have traffic after. Bayo, much, much worse. I know he had a 2.33 ERA going into that start, but I didn't think he really looked like a 2.33 guy, and he proved that today against a pretty good lineup that he's not that guy yet. And who knows if he ever will be. I mean, he's only 26, so it's not like he's, 30 and it's just a matter of giving up on him, kind of like we did with Nick Pivetta, even though now he's like an all-star in San Diego. What do you think of Brian Bayo? Maybe not necessarily just the short term, but like, do you think he's ever going to be that guy?
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to repeat myself, but the Netflix thing, you saw some excuses, you saw some reasons where maybe he was having some issues, but Lou talked about it today. When he first came up, control was an issue, didn't know where the ball was going, but he had that changeup. The changeup was what got him here. And that pitch has just escaped him now. I don't know if that's a Andrew Bailey thing, a feel thing, a weather thing, an injury thing, but he has no idea where it's going. He's throwing it like 90 miles an hour. And when it dips into right-handed hitters, and they just mash it. Like today, I'm like, okay, like if he can just get this one guy, and he just can't get the guy. And I'm looking at his last couple games, and I'm like, why did they pull him after this many innings? Like I think that. So I mean, yeah, he had the issue today, but you look at the Detroit game, you're like, why did they pull him after 4 1/3? Oh, because he only threw 92 pitches because he had 2 walks. I don't know how many 4-ball counts he had. I mean, it was just, what is going on here? The game against Texas, he threw 83 pitches in only 4 innings, but he walked 5 guys. And that changeup it hasn't been the same since he first come into the league. And I think even the first half or second half of last year, when he kind of figured it out, it was a little better. But that changeup is just not working for him right now, and that's kind of like his go-to pitch.
Yeah, and his pitch usage has been kind of weird. I mean, his best start of the year so far through what's been 6 is his start against the Twins. He went 6 2/3, allowed 1 earned, struck out 5, only 1 walk. He's walked at least 2 guys in every other start this year, at least 3 guys 4 times, and 5 guys twice. He has 1 more strikeout than walk this year. He's got 20 Ks, 19 walks in 31 1/3 innings 31 1/3 innings pitched. His under the hood metrics were not good entering the start, which is why I said he didn't look like a 2.33 ERA guy entering play. But then today he just didn't have it. Again, 10 hits, 5 walks, 7 earned. And Sean Newcomb didn't even allow any inherited runners to score. So it's not even like you can point your finger at somebody else and be like, well, it would have been only 5 earned if Newcomb didn't give up, 2 hits in relief in that inning. I know Newcomb tried to because he walked a guy and then Bregman had to save him with a diving snag. But this was 100% Bayo's doing. This was his line, and he honestly deserved worse. I wouldn't have even brought in Newcomb. I would have let Bayo continue to wear that because he earned that. He pitched so poorly today. He deserved to finish that inning. I didn't think anybody else should have been put in that position to potentially have that get even uglier than Brian Bayo did. It was that bad. And I'm usually a protect the player guy, but his body language was shit. Every pitch he threw was shit. He He had like 9 strikes thrown in like a 30-pitch fifth inning. It was just hideous. And I don't know if he's still dealing with some things. Like I remember he pulled something or cramped up in his debut. I don't know if maybe that's lingering and he's just not saying anything. I don't know if his mechanics are messed up. But 5.74 Ks per 9, 5.46 walks per 9, and 31 and a third innings. He has allowed 53 base runners. That's hideous. And it's not even because of BABIP luck. Like I know people pointed to, like he had a 404 batting average on balls in play his rookie year in 2022. And this year it's 309. Like it's not even like he's getting killed when the ball's getting put in play. That's pretty average. It's ugly. I love Bayo. I think he's a whole lot of fun to watch when he's on. He does not look like a major league pitcher right now, and he hasn't yet this year, other than the Twins start. But but now you have to rely on him because who else are you going to go to? Are you going to call up Brian Van Bell? Are you going to have Connolly Early skip AAA? Like what are the alternatives? You're gonna make a trade mid-season, like in May? Like you need him to figure it out. And I don't know what the fix is.
Yeah, I don't think they have one right now. I think they just got to kind of the guys that they have to figure it out. And if they don't, you're calling up all the kids and you're kind of flushing the toilet and starting over. And it's just so disappointing because I think, early in the season, we just had really high expectations for this team. And then chip away, they had health. This guy gets hurt. That guy gets hurt. And we're like, oh, we're fine. We've got this guy. We've got that guy. But, yeah, it's getting really frustrating. I had tickets for Friday and Monday. And then I couldn't go Friday because I had to work, but it was an outdoor event. And then basically I had a baseball game to cover, and the field got flooded, so then I couldn't have gone to the game. And, yeah, it would have been nice to see the pitching matchup with Sale, but it's kind of like I'm kind of glad I didn't go because I hate going to losses. I just hate it. I mean, even if it's like a 1-0 game, it's a no-hitter, it just leaves such a bad taste in your mouth, And I really want to see the Mets game, but I have to work that night too, so I can't go. But I'm kind of like, are they going to win that game? And just today sucked so much because of what Devers did the game before. And you're like, if they can just fucking figure it out, if they can hold this team to 5 runs, they've got a shot.
Mm-hmm.
And it just didn't work out, when you're watching this game. And especially when, when Devers hits the grand slam, you're like, all right, like we're in it. But it's like, you can't have one guy do all the damage, and it seems like they just can't get on the same page. And I don't know what's going to happen, but of all the podcasts we've done this year, I think this one was like the one where it was like, all right, let's get it over with, basically. Like where all the other ones, at least we had something positive to talk about. For this one, it was just like, it's so fucking disappointing.
Yeah. It's one thing if yesterday's game happened today, and it's like, that's the win that you can point to as the turning point. But you come back after yesterday's game, and you honestly set it up to be very similar feel after this one. Like you mentioned what Devers did last night, and then you also mentioned his grand slam, but you were down 3-0 in the third inning against a very good pitcher, Spencer Schwellenbach, very good pitcher. And the bottom of the order perfectly sets up the top of the order. David Hamilton singles, Cedon singles, and Duran walks. You get bases loaded. What was it? Nobody out for Devers. It's 98 down the middle, a pitch he's struggled on all season, and he hits it 442 feet to dead center. They give you a 4-3 lead. And Bayo comes out and gets the first 2 guys out in the top of the fourth. I will give him like that. He was attacking, got the first 2 guys out. And then single, and it's tied. Left it at 4-4. And then he comes back out for the 5th. And he walked 3 in the inning. Like he completely pissed it away. And like Newcomb gave up 3 runs on a sac fly and then a 2-run home run to Marcelo Zuna late. But I didn't think they had 3 more runs in them. I know they obviously didn't score them, but like I don't think it staying 7-4 was going to springboard them into a comeback. They were done. Once Bayo gave up the 7 runs, they were done. They had no chance. And that's what's frustrating. It like almost completely negates the vibes of game 2 of the series. Like that was an embarrassing response to what could have been a turning point. And maybe it still ends up being one in the long haul. Again, You have to lose 2 to go 10-2 in a 12-game stretch. But that was not very inspiring way to finish the series. And the only real bright side of this was Hamilton had 2 hits and a steal, and then got thrown out at third being an idiot, and then Devers hit the grand slam and had a double.
Yeah, I think the debate is it's like, when is too late, too late? And, every season is different. But I remember in the 04 season where it was like, this team isn't really doing anything. We had all kind of emotionally checked out. I know we were all on vacation when Garcia Parra got traded. And even when they did trade him, things didn't come together. I'm looking at June now from 04, and it was like, you lose 2 against San Francisco, you lose 2 against Minnesota, you get swept by New York. It was like, some really heartbreaking games. They really didn't turn it out until July. And they were just, they were kind of up and down and not really doing things. Their defense was horrible, and they're making stupid errors. And I think the frustrating thing for me right now is, and I said this before, Baltimore, they're not Baltimore anymore. Like a couple of years ago, I was like, holy shit, Baltimore's here. Like they're stacked, and they got Burns and they've got this and they've got that. They're in last place right now. You got Toronto doing their thing, Tampa Bay doing their thing. It's like, guys, we got to get our act together. You got to do it, So,
yeah, I just don't know what the fix is. I mean, what would you like? I think some people are waiting for like that one move to happen where it like kind of sets everything into place. I'll put you in Craig Breslow's position here and kind of put you on the spot. I know we didn't talk about this beforehand. What, in your opinion, is that move? Or is it even just a one move thing? I mean, because I know one move is really like 3.
yeah,
Because like if you DFA
I don't
Story, you
think,
call it Meyer,
yeah,
that's 2, but it's one thing.
I don't think it's a move right now, but I think the team has to show they have it in them. I'm not going to make a bunch of moves if they're not even in it. Like they basically have to like, okay, they're winning games, but okay, they're blowing games in the 9th inning. Get a closer. Like I'm like, what is the problem here of what's going on? What it is they're just not clicking on all cylinders right now. But I think everybody kind of that I talk to, they want to see Story adios. They want to figure out something at first base, whether it's Devers or it's Campbell or it's, I guess, Willie Abreu was taking ground balls today, which I think is stupid because he's probably the best outfielder defensively, altogether. Well, I mean, Sadon's great in center, but I love having Abreu in right field. And then it's okay if you move Campbell to first base, who's playing second now. I mean, do you let Grissom do it? Just like, all right, whatever, it's time. It can't get me much worse. I mean, look how bad Story is. Like, is Grissom really going to be that much worse offensively? And no. And I mean, I love the guy as far as what he brought to the team, but Casas wasn't giving you anything offensively, absolutely, like at all. And I really, I still kind of feel like because Casas is going to be back, I think, at some point. And I think Devers could do it for a year. I just don't want to move Campbell to first base, and then he's a first baseman. I guess maybe it's so young in his career, it doesn't really matter. Massa can probably DH, and he's a guy who doesn't strike out. And if you look at somebody's box scores, how many times do they have multiple double-digit strikeouts? He's going to keep the game going, And as a left-handed hitter, he can hit the ball the other way at Fenway. That's what you need right now. You need to extend those innings. I don't want guys swinging from the heels, 0-2 counts, not choking up and striking out. I mean, yeah, I know it's a different game, but it's like you need base runners. And now Devers is hitting. Let's get some guys in front of him, Let's do something, And but I mean, it hasn't been a complete shit show. I mean, I think we get our good starting catcher now. Navarez, I mean, that was amazing. That was a great find. Whitlock, he's had some clean innings all of a sudden now. Chapman, I mean, you can say we'll talk about him personally, however you feel, but I have absolutely no issues with his performance on the field. And maybe Hendricks might figure it out. I mean, you've got enough positives that if you just can string together some wins, and like I said, that it gets back to today. That's why today was so frustrating. You had that Devers game. Go on a little bit of a series here and then make some moves. And if Story goes on the DL and Mayer comes up, I don't think anyone's going to complain about it. I don't even Story. I mean, I think he has enough wherewithal to be like, I'm not getting it done. And the Red Sox just need to grow a pair, whether they DFA him or they trade him or whatever they do. It's not working, and you got to make the hard decisions now. You don't want to make these decisions in August and nobody gives a shit because I think everything's wide open right now. I mean, I think that if they can string together some wins, they can do something, and then you just get hot. You get 2 really good pitchers in the playoffs. You can ride that, and if you got a good bullpen, you can make it work.
Yeah, they're in what's become a very unfamiliar position in Boston because the Celtics are done and the Bruins didn't make the playoffs. You are the only team that people care about right now and will be for about 3 months. Well, I guess 2 until Patriots training camp starts, 2.5. So this is all eyes are on you now. All the casuals are here. So you're going to hear even more noise. And you don't want to be in a position again where it's Fenway is now a second home to opposing teams. And like I know that certain fan bases travel. Like I expect there to be a lot of Mets fans these next 3 days. It's just going to happen. Like
That's going to be so fucking awful, especially with the Knicks, what they did to the Celtics.
Yeah.
I'm actually glad I'm not going on Monday. I can't deal with New York. Like they had like a participation trophy. I guess they hung the other night because they're in the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years. It's just like there's nothing worse than New York fans, but there's nothing worse than New York fans when they actually have success. And the Yankees fans, because it's been so long since they won anything, they're living vicariously through the Knicks fans now.
Yeah. Man, I'm looking at the live stats right now, and Story has dipped under 0 wins above replacement. He is now tied with Nick Sogard for wins above replacement at negative 0.1. Crazy how he was at 1.2, I think, a month ago. That's crazy.
Well, defensively, he was getting the job done, but then if he slips it all defensively, it goes back to his bat, and he'll have those 2 or 3 games where he's walking into these balls and hitting moonshots. But I mean, 30 years ago when I was a kid, we had guys like Rob Deere who would hit 25 home runs, but they're hitting 197. I mean, what's that going to do for you? I mean, there's a reason Joey Gallo's not playing baseball anymore. I mean, it's just like, yeah, that's great, but you got to do something else. Oh, yeah, that's really going to work out, But yeah, I don't know. I mean, they got to move on from Story, and I don't know. I don't know how does that. I don't even know how that works in baseball. Is it just guaranteed money? Do they work a buyout? Is it just DFA? Like, how does that work?
I think they could just DFA him, and then he can either accept his assignment to AAA, or I mean, I think another team absorbs his contract if they claim him, which they won't do because that's 2 more years of 20 plus mil. I think 25 mil a year for the next 2.
Yeah.
It's but it's getting late early here. Like again, you can't wait too long for something to happen to make your decision for you. Like you have to be willing to make another similar move decision wise as like getting rid of Chris Sale. Like it just makes sense to do it. And if it doesn't work out, it only doesn't work out if Story goes and is great somewhere else. And if he does go somewhere else and is great, I am so happy for him. My beef with Story has nothing to do with who he is as a person. He's worked hard. It's been tough. It's been tough sledding for him here. He deserves better as a person for than what's happened, but it's just time. Like the game has left you. It's time to make that move. And I think I don't know if it's just one move that kind of gets the wheels turning. I know they got a little bit of a shot in the arm back in 2019 when they called up Chavis after Pedroia went back on the IL. And maybe it's a similar effect where you get a little shot in the arm and get a little swagger back in you. You get you get Campbell and Mayer back to back in the lineup. Like you get that duo again up the middle, and you just get a little bit of juju going.
Yeah, I mean, I was in Chicago when Chavis went off, when the whole the ice horse thing was a thing for about a week and a half. And I went to all 3 White Sox games. I got a buddy of mine who lives in Chicago. The tickets are $5. You buy them on your phone as you walk into the stadium because the team is so dog shit. And it was like, where are you sitting? It's like, well, I'm sitting here, but I can move. Where are you? And you're like texting your friends in the park. And it was hilarious. But Chavis just went off. I think one of the games was like 19 to 4, something crazy. He had 3 home runs. It was just, and big scope of things that never really panned out for him. I think he went to the Pirates. I don't even know if he plays baseball anymore. I don't know what his deal is, but for a short time, but for a short time, he was the man. Now, I'm not saying, Mayer's going to flame out, but I think if he comes up, I think defensively, I think he can definitely do the job. And I think his bat is at least league average, which Story isn't. So automatically that's an upgrade.
Yeah. I mean, you need to find a way. Like right now you're reeling as a team, but with how bad shortstop is, I think Romy and Nick Sogard have done Well, Romy, Nick Sogard, and Toro have done enough to be like one of those like little circular band-aids, even if it's like a stab wound, like a little circular band-aid where it like stops the bleeding a little bit. But you can't have that kind of trio at first base and nothing out of Trevor Story. So if you go and put Mayer in there, even if Mayer only is hot for a week, or even if he's not hot, but you just have him there and he's like a calming influence at shortstop, like again, you just got to shake things up a little bit and wake some people up. Like maybe again, Devers is killing the ball. So I don't think really anything's going to change what's going on with Raffy, barring injury. Bregman is Bregman. He'll go through his slumps. Like I think he's kind of in the middle of one right now, even though he had the RBI double in game 2. He's not been Alex Bregman the last couple of weeks, save for the home runs in Detroit. But like you've got your guys that are going, are going to produce. And Sadon's been cooking a little bit of late too, but it's a matter of just kind of waking the team up and just adding new energy to the locker room. And I think that's the move. And I know they love Story, but they need to be adult enough to understand that this is a business. And if you want to win, which everyone says is their goal, I know that their number one goal is to get paid. Like that's implied. So when they say their number one goal is to win, that's their number 2 goal behind getting paid. But if your goal is to win, you can't look at Trevor Story and say, we're a better team with him around than we would be with Marcelo Mayer. It's time. And I think that's the move that kind of shakes things in the right direction. Even if like for that first week, you don't feel it right away, but moving forward, like it's just something he's going to have to go start the growing pains eventually. Why not do it now? I get the whole don't want to make him feel like he has to save the team. But you're a talented enough group where he shouldn't feel that way just by showing up anyway, So I think that's the move. I know that Roman's the better player, but DFAing Story, calling it Mayer, that would be what I do. And I do it now.
It's the easy fit because you have a place to put him. I think Roman, you're right, is the better player, but to bring Roman on the team right now, like you're going to have to make some tough decisions. And Duran's hitting again. Willier's got dad strength. Rafaela defensively in center field. I mean, he might not know when like a guy's stealing a base. He might not know that, but because he's just the head's in the clouds. But I mean, physical ability. I mean, the guy's great. If it was me, I'm the kind of guy where, I grew up in a generation where if I'm not winning the game, I hit reset on the game console, and start over. I would bring up Romy. I bring up Anthony and Mayer somehow. I would just make it happen. It's ready. I'm tired of watching mediocre baseball. I don't know how you do it. Just do it. Figure it out. You're right. You don't want to put these guys on the bench. You don't want to do that. But plenty of good guys start off on the bench, whether they're Lou Gehrig or Mike Trout. They weren't like handed the keys their first day at the job. You figure it out. But I want my best 25 guys here. And I don't think Anthony's going to get that much better by facing AAA pitching. I think like if he's here or if he's not, I don't see like what he's going to gain at this point. He's got the everyday reps, but I don't think anybody's like, well, geez, he really needs to work on breaking pitches, or gee, he's not really a great base runner, or his mental acuity isn't quite what it needs to be to play Major League Baseball. The guy's 20, he's a savant, he's ready. Just do it. I don't want these shit players on my team anymore. I don't care anymore. I just don't care.
Yeah, he's got a 932 OPS in AAA, and I know some of it's not necessarily results based. You want to look at the under the hood stuff as well, but his OPS is 932, and Myers is 819 after it was horrible to start the year. So he's rolling of late. He's got 40 runs batted in, which is 4th in all of professional baseball. That's the leader. He's the leader of the Red Sox organization for runs batted in. It's just time for a shakeup, and if it's both, if it's one of them, whatever, you got to do something, and you got to do it fast. I know we skipped over this, and I said that we would talk about it after game 2, but we could talk about it quickly.
Sure.
Catherine Veritek with her tweet after game 2 of the series against the Atlanta Braves. What a bizarre thing to just randomly tweet. I know she'd been going at it with some people in her comments, and then deleted her Twitter altogether. But her tweet last night. Can you imagine a team run by the idiots, managed by Veritek, pitching coach D. Lowe, hitting Johnny Damon, Kevin Millar, first base coach? You following? And then it's like the the hand heart emoji. First off, what the fuck is she saying? Second off, was she sober? I'm gonna go with no. And
There's the
third,
answer there.
yeah. And third, like, is it just me or is that coaching staff fucking terrible? Like,
Well,
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
it's just you know, it's like people think Phil Jackson's a great coach. I think Michael Jordan's a good basketball player.
Yeah.
People are like, "Oh, Casey Jones is a great coach," and I'm like, "No, Larry Bird's a good basketball player." Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Steve Kerr, is he a great coach? Well, I think Curry was a pretty good basketball player. You know what I mean? But I think it's nostalgia. It's like, oh yeah, like there's a reason that like all these guys coach, and you're like, why do they keep getting jobs? Because owners or fans who then become owners have emotional attachments with their childhood. And they're like, oh yeah, like we need to bring this guy back. We need to bring that guy back. We want to know for. It's like, look at all the bullshit the Bruins are going through with like Cam Neely and Don Sweeney. And it's like, why are these guys here? If their names weren't Sweeney or Neely, they'd be gone. It's people, it's emotional attachment, personal relationships, whatever you want to call it. I do think that, substances might have been involved in the tweet, as most things are on Twitter. But coincidentally, Cora won't be managing the team on Monday because his daughter's graduating college at BC. So technically, Veritek will be managing the team on Monday, but his staff won't be there, or his wife's dream staff won't be there. But I don't know her personally. I've seen her on Twitter. I know she's done a lot of engaging things with fans. She's always been approachable. She's been very polite to people that I know. So, hey, whatever. I mean, people do, stuff they regret all the time,
Yeah, I wonder if she was told to delete her Twitter or if people were starting to message her, because I do think that might be like the latter is a bit across the line. But I definitely think the deleting of the tweet was definitely a directive from Jason Varitek or maybe the Red Sox. I don't know, but like I don't know if she understood that by tweeting that she's like indirectly calling for Alex Cora to get fired, and like Varitek's on Cora's staff. Like you're telling me if Cora got fired, that like a lot of the dugout wouldn't go too, and I think Varitek would be included in that because it's not like he was great at his job. His job basically right now is to resemble the '04 team in the dugout. Like, like he's the representative. Just a weird thing to say. Like the vibes are so high and then you're like main character time, Like look at me. I just think really weird thing to tweet. And yeah, phase 1's complete of her plan, which is Cora not managing tomorrow. Although I do think Ramon Vasquez is managing. I don't think it's Veritek.
Oh, really? Oh, okay, all right. For some reason, it's set for some. I think someone might have jumped the gun and said, "Oh, Veritek will manage now because he's." But if it's Ramon, that's fine. I mean, for one game or even multiple games, I really don't think it's an issue. I mean, it's still the guys on the field. They got to get it done. Managers look great when their teams are winning. When they're losing, they're the scapegoat. And it's kind of like, all right, fire the guy making $5-6 million. Don't fire the guy who's making $80 million, who's accountable. Never do that. It's not the player's fault.
Yeah. Yeah, fire Cora and let's hire everybody from the 2004 team to run the ship. Let's get Manny in that dugout. That would be fucking crazy.
Yeah, everybody will test positive for being pregnant. It'll be great. Everybody's estrogen will be through the roof.
Yeah, seriously, be fucking crazy. But yeah, again, just a super odd thing to post just hours after what should have been the win of the year. You know what? I'm diverting blame off of me and sending it to Captain Veritek.
Okay.
She killed the vibes last night. I'm just trying not to be the one bearing the brunt of the blame. I'll take some of it, but she can wear some of that as well. 0-1 since she tweeted that, so
that's the thing. Yeah. I thought the turnaround though was going to be when what was the girl there? Was it the Herald where she said that Duran was going to have like a sit down with the mayor, and then like all of a sudden like it turned out to be a BS tweet, and she never took it down. And it's like, just say like you were wrong. It's okay. And like she just stood by it, was stuck with it, and was like wouldn't get off that horse. And I just like, don't get me wrong. I mean, I've been married now for a while, and the first thing you have to do is when you mess up and make a mistake, you got to own it. You pick your battles. You're like, I screwed up, and your life will be a lot easier. A lot easier.
Yeah, that Mayor Wu joke is going to be a thing on Red Sox Twitter forever. Mayor Wu would like a meeting with whoever. Could she meet with Brian Bayo, please, and talk about his performance today? Please, I'm begging. But yeah, Sox lose 2 out of 3 to Atlanta, fall to 2 games under 500, somehow still in second in the American League East. I don't know how. This division, what a fall from grace this division's had. It was historically great 2 years ago, and this year it's like the Yankees and a bunch of misfits, and then the Orioles, who are ass. Just a different kind of ass. Like the Blue Jays and Red Sox are 2 cheeks of the same ass. The Rays are just kind of young, and then there's the Orioles, who just blow, which is crazy to me. I thought they were gonna be much better than they
Yeah.
are.
Can we grab any of those Orioles guys that just want to like not play for Baltimore? I mean, Boston, the schools are better. It's a better place to live. You can sell them on that. I know they're like 15 years old and they're in prep school still, so they don't quite understand that or have families. But I mean, eventually they're going to start shaving for the first time, and they're going to want like a family. And like, because I mean, they got some guys, they got some dudes,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of like that team is just. They got that new ownership, and the thing was they're going to spend money. That was like the one thing the Orioles never did. They never could hold anybody. No pitchers ever wanted to play there. And it was like, well, their ownership's cheap, so that even if they have any talent, it's just not going to work out. And they finally sold the team, and it was time, and they just blew it. They completely blew it.
Yeah. What a bizarre turnaround. And like I brought this up a couple weeks ago when Costas got hurt, that a guy that I wouldn't hate the Red Sox bringing in would be Ryan Mountcastle. Like he's got good career numbers at Fenway. I know he's not having a very good year this year, but I mean, who is on Baltimore? I mean, look at Tyler O'Neill. He's got like a 600 OPS. He and Trevor Story are kind of jockeying for who can be the worst right-handed hitter in the American League East. Mountcastle just has looks like a 615 OPS right now. So it's not like he's having a very good year either. Only 2 home runs, but again, he kills it at Fenway. Team control through 2027. So I liked him. It makes for an interesting situation when Casas comes back next year. But that would be the guy. That would be the guy I target first and foremost. Adley Rutschman has regressed so much. Like he's not good anymore. His last like 500 plate appearances, he has like a 550 OPS. He's been
Yeah.
really bad. Like I don't know how to explain it. He was having a great year, then he like broke his hand basically and played through it last year. But this year he's hitting 209 with a 641 OPS, 4 home runs and 11 runs batted in. And he's hitting like second in that lineup. He's not very good. He's 27.
Jordan, if things go on their current rate, and let's say the Red Sox are 3 or 4 games out of wild card or whatever, getting close to the deadline. What is there any guys in the organization prospect wise that you would give up for Rhys Hoskins right now? Who would you be comfortable with parting with?
It's tough because Rhys, for starters, Rhys is a rental player, so it's maybe there's a mutual option, but I don't think he would take it because who
Right.
does unless you're
Yep.
Lucas Giolito. I don't know, honestly. Like, it's tough. Would you be willing to trade? Like I look down the line here of prospects. Like, is Mikey Romero somebody you would trade? I personally wouldn't. I like him. I would probably use him more as like a pitching trade chip. Maybe Yoelan Cespedes, who's fallen out of the top 10 for the organization. Um, Dalvinson Reyes, maybe. I mean, he's 21st in the organization. Maybe Yordani Monegro. I mean, you already made a trade with Milwaukee this year. You traded Quinn Priester there for Yofiri Rodriguez. Would they take him back for Rhys Hoskins? So that it becomes Quinn Priester for Rhys Hoskins, essentially. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't know
but I'm
can you
looking
make it
like
can you make it a rental or something? Or I don't know. I mean, I know that years ago we got the closer Rick Aguilera from the Twins, and basically he was like, "I'm going to re-sign with the Twins after this season, but I will pitch for you guys for 2 months." Like it was like basically he like said it and had to retract it because you couldn't say that legally, like in the newspaper. But like it was like a known thing that it was going to happen. But I just figure, I mean, I think Costas is going to come back, so you're going to do something temporary. I just don't want to fuck the whole roster up and make everybody move around just for 1 year and then just have to move it back again.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if they're 3 or 4 games out of a wild card spot, what matters to me more at the deadline, if you're not in a playoff spot, is how many teams are between you and that last playoff spot. Like if you're 3 games back, but you're the 4th team out, it's a little bit more difficult than if you're even 5 games back, but you're the first team out because you're only chasing that one team. And you just have to be that much better than that specific team. It's just, I don't know. I have a hard time kind of picking who I would be comfortable trading for Rhys Hoskins in particular. Maybe it's not a prospect. Maybe you're trading someone off the MLB roster for him. Maybe you're trading, I don't know, like Richard Fitz. I'm just using him as an example. I have no idea. Hunter Dobbins. I wouldn't trade Dobbins, but maybe that's who it is. I don't know. Luis Guerrero, if they need a reliever, we'll see. But
Right.
they got to start winning first. But I do agree with you in the sense that they need to buy, and unless they completely bottom out, that has to be what they do. Because you can't give Alex Bregman $40 million a year and then sell. You can't do it. You're not I don't know how many more years you're getting of this version of Rafi Devers, but you cannot be uncompetitive in these prime years of Devers.
What's your temperature right now for Bregman opting out? 90% he's going to opt out. 50% he's going to opt out. Like, how do you feel today? What's the temperature right now?
As far as percentage, I would still say it's probably pretty close to 50-50. I think that was that's probably where I'm going to be for most of the year. It's $40 million is $40 million. Like, can he earn more as a free agent when he's 33? If he has 3 years like this in Boston, I mean, maybe not quite to the degree he's having, but like, if he's a 4-win player each of these 3 years in Boston, he can make some serious coin in the free agent market, even as a 34-year-old. Whereas if he opts out, he's still a 32-year-old hitting free agency with just 1 year of like rebounding from what was a bad 2024. I'd still say 50-50. And although I do think if you make something drastic with Cora, it probably leans more like 70-30 that he opts out, unless you go on like some crazy run after getting rid of Cora. But we'll see. He's fit in well beyond my wildest dreams, though. He's been an absolute godsend for this team. Where would they be without him? 163 WRC plus and an OPS of 952. 5th in the league in home runs. He's been great.
Are you surprised with him at third and Devers only DHing that their defense hasn't been better? That's the biggest surprise for me this year. How bad their defense has been.
Well, I think the problem is like Story's regressed a lot. Like his range isn't that good. His arm's always been bad. Like even when he was with Colorado, it wasn't great. His range has gotten worse. There's a lot of plays I feel like he should make that he doesn't, that aren't range specific. Campbell, there was always going to be growing pains there at second base. He's still learning that position on the fly at the major league level. And Duran regressed a lot as well defensively in left field. Like, I mean, him just dropping pop flies didn't happen in 2024. This year, it's happened, I think, 3 or 4 times where he's just lost a ball, and whether it be a sun ball or just him losing focus. I mean, he's rebounded a bit.
Yeah, like 2023.
Yeah. Like, I mean, now he's up to 2 defensive runs saved in left field. I think his outs above average jumped from like -4 to -2. So it's trending up, but like that's really a main thing for me is like him and Story just regressing big time.
Right.
But yeah. I mean, we may as well look ahead to this series with the Mets, even though we don't. I still don't know the starters. Well, I know the Red Sox starters for 2 of them, and the Mets starters for 2 of them. But we got TBD in 2 games, so I will. I'll give the matchups, and then you can tell me how you feel. You got them?
Well, I mean, I'm just reading what you got. I mean, I think it's Bueller's going to start in the second game, right?
I don't know. Have they committed to that yet?
Well, I mean, I just read like 4 tweets. They're like, okay, we don't know Bueller. Like everyone's keeping dropping that, and then like they're kind of, I guess, post game now they had talked about him. He's like, well, I'm hearing Tuesday, but I can't. Nothing's official. So I think the only TBA that's the real TBA, and this is not the ESPN, we don't work on Sundays TBA, which I bust their balls about every week, but the real TBA is the Crochet game, the third game.
Gotcha.
As of now, I mean, that could change. It is 5:39 on Sunday, So
yeah, that's a good point. Maybe this is the one downside of recording right after the game is over as opposed to waiting, but we wanted to get this over with. We wanted to forget about this weekend series.
As much as possible.
Yeah. So I'll give the matchups as they stand right now, and then Brian, you can give your take on how this series is going to go. This is at Fenway Park, big series. If the Sox can win this one, this would be gigantic for them moving forward. They got game one, Kodai Senga, who is having an unbelievable season. 1.02 is his ERA. That's disgusting.
Holy shit.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Hunter Dobbins, because he's gotten Tarek Skubal and now Kodai Senga in back-to-back starts. He's got a 3.90 ERA, which I think he's been better than that would indicate,
All right.
but that's game one. Game two, we've got Clay Holmes, who's been great as a starter, 3.14 ERA, going up against TBD for the Red Sox. Could be Walker Buehler in his return. I think he's missed the last three trips through the rotation, which feels like an eternity with how the starting rotation has been. But if it is Buehler, his ERA is 4.28 in 6 starts. And then game three, we have TBD for the Mets going up against Garrett Crochet, who's been better than advertised for me as well. 2.00 ERA in, I think, 8 starts now. And he's going very, very deep into outings, which is something he did not do really at any point last year with Chicago. But yeah, I'll kick it to you, Brian.
Are you content with Crochet? All the doubts are gone now, where he had the dip and the velocity and the arm angle, and are you 100% over that all now, or do you still have some lingering concerns?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I was really ever all that worried about the velo. It wasn't like, I mean, it's down a mile an hour overall this year. Last year it was 97.3. This year it's 96.3.
Right.
But like Trevor May made a video, which I thought was really great. Trevor May's, anyone who can convince him to get into a dugout their pitching staff is going to ascend greatly. But he was like, basically, the lower your arm slot, the less wear and tear on your shoulder and elbow. So somebody like him or Paul Skeens going lower on arm slot. Chris Sale, I think, briefly did that as well this year, which is crazy to think his arm slot would get even lower. It'd be good for them in the long haul. He's still getting 10.4 Ks per nine. I know that's down from last year, but it's still 29.1%. I'm not really concerned about the velo. I mean, he's hit 98. He hit 98 several times last time out. He hit 98 late in an outing against Kansas City. He's looking dominant the last few times out. Maybe if it was more like how he looked against the Twins, maybe I'd be a little bit concerned about if he's healthy or whatnot. But how he's looked against Kansas City and Atlanta, I'm not super worried about the velo.
Okay.
But how do you think the series will go for the Sox?
Well, I had tickets for Monday, and I'm not going now, so of course they're going to win that game because fuck me, right? But no, I mean, I didn't realize Cody had the 1 ERA. I mean, that's just lights out. I mean, that was like, is Boris's agent? It was like the hype before he came over. Probably, I'm guessing he might be, or somebody was, but it was like, oh yeah, this guy's going to be amazing. He had that wipeout split-fingered fastball that nobody could touch, and he's throwing 100 miles an hour. But I know he did have some injuries, but I mean, if he's got a 1 ERA, I mean, that's good in any league, let alone Major League Baseball. That's holy shit. And then Hunter Dobbins, he's just getting the shit under the stick. He's like, what do they call him? The Dragon Slayer or whatever you want to call him, or, I mean, but that's a tough game to win. But no, he'll probably blow the first game, and then the second game, I think Buehler will bounce back, and then Crochet against TBA. I mean, I think he can beat TBA most nights. But as you know, the Red Sox, when they face a guy they've never seen before, the guy usually pitches a fucking no-hitter. So
yeah,
that's just the way the Red Sox roll. So, I mean, I think you win 1 of 3, but, I mean, I'd really like to see him win that first. I want Hunter Dobbins to have like a, hey, Bayo's nice. I know you made some moves. I'm here. I'm in the rotation. I'm not going anywhere type of game. And, I mean, I think that'd be a great game for him to show what he's got. And I think he's more than capable of it. Just everything has to line up. But I've watched him pitch in the minors, on MILB TV, and there's he's a major league pitcher. He just is. He just needs a little more, whatever it is. But it's gonna work out.
Yeah, I think this could be a really big statement game for Hunter Dobbins. Like, do you want to take me out of the rotation when Fitz and Buehler are officially back in the rotation? Not so fast, kind of outing, and I don't think he has to win it to have that. This is a tough lineup. I mean, you got Pete Alonso, who's playing out of his mind, playing Fenway. Like, he's gonna hit him if he's pulling the ball. That's gonna be a problem. Obviously, Soto and Lindor, they're both starting to heat up a bit. Well, Lindor more so. Soto the last couple of weeks has looked more like Juan Soto, which is crazy. Him having a bad year is like an 870 OPS. But the Mets are the second best team in baseball for a reason. This is a tough series.
Gross.
And I will say last year, I thought very similarly when the Phillies came to town. They were, I think, the third best team in the league when they came to Fenway. The Red Sox were hovering around 500 up until June, and that was the series that springboarded them into like that crazy run that had them 10 over 500 at the All-Star break. So, I think Game 1. I think this ends up becoming a battle of the bullpens. I think both starters pitch very well, and which bullpen blinks first will be the team that ends up losing. And as bad as the Red Sox bullpen has been, they're due for a game where they don't suck. I think they take Game 1 by the skin of their teeth, and we get like one of those heart attack Chapman outings, but he gets the save. And then Game 2, I'm going to go with the Mets there. Clay Holmes has got something working, and we don't have Alex Verdugo anymore to ruin his day because Verdugo was like the only one, and Yoshida's hurt. So those are two guys that kill him, which is crazy. Two ground ball hitters own Clay Holmes with his turbo sinker. I think Buehler will be fine if he comes back, and if it's somebody else, then probably less fine. But Clay Holmes has got too much working for him right now. And then I like our boy Jack has said, I'm never betting against Garrett Crochet. I know that they've lost, I think 4 of his 10 starts, or 4 of his 10 starts are 6-4. But I will never predict it. I think they take 2 of 3, and it's more hopeful, less logical. But I think we got some noise coming. There's no intel into that, and I'll give the timestamp right now. It's 5:46 p.m. So if something happens after that, I'm a genius. If nothing happens, well, I was just trying to manifest. But I think
So you
we got some noise.
you said
coming.
sweep. You said sweep. Is that what you said? You said sweep.
No, it's a 2 out of 3. I said 2 out of 3. I said 2 out of 3. But I do think we got some noise coming. I think something's going to happen in the coming few hours that maybe catapults the Red Sox in the right direction. I don't know what it's going to be.
Are you hearing something? Is there a version of the scoop shop with the Pesky report that you're not alluding to?
No, I don't have any intel on this. I just have a feeling it's like you can only go 0 for 4 so many times. His OPS is under 630. I have a feeling Marcelo Mayer will be in Boston tomorrow. Whether he plays or not, he will be with the Boston Red Sox tomorrow. You'll get Hamilton and Christian Campbell up the middle, so good luck, but Marcelo Mayer will be starting Game 2 of the series.
Wow. All right.
I'm making a call.
All right.
And if he doesn't get called up tomorrow but gets called up on Tuesday, I'm still counting it, so fuck off.
Whatever works. I want the same thing. I want the same thing, man.
To all the haters out there, I'm counting it if he gets called up after tomorrow's game. But alrighty. Any last thoughts before we wrap this up?
No, man. I like the optimism. I think when we first started, I was a little, I don't know how this podcast is going to go, just because it's just a kick in the nuts this series, But it's kind of good to end on a positive note and think that maybe the Mets come to town and we get something to talk about.
Yeah. I hope our weekday guys get a good series to talk about. Doink wins either way because she's a Sox fan primary, Mets fan secondary, so she wins no matter what.
I got some questions there. That's tough.
Yeah, she eats no matter what, unfortunately. And she's a Knicks fan. And she's a Knicks fan, so she already holds.
Oh, really? Oh, come on. Yeah. I like her. You don't have to tell me that. Oh man, now, oh, jeez. Oh man. All right. All right. Whatever. Hey, whatever. Nobody's perfect. Okay.
Unfortunately. But yeah, I'm with you. Hopefully the series starts things in the right direction, similar to last year when the Phillies came to town. But we'll see. We shall see. That'll do it for this edition of the Pesky Report, episode 471, presented by Beyond the Monster. For Brian, I'm Jordan. Until next time, peace out and go Sox.